Hi, my name is Dane from Camera Ambassador, and today I'm proud to be announcing our newest rental offering, the Ronin M. The Ronin Mini weighs in at only 5 pounds versus the Ronin's 9.26 pounds. This thing can fit in your backpack and supports up to 8 pounds of camera setup. Single axis follow mode enables you to lock onto 2 axes, while smooth track guides your camera along only 1 axis of motion. Unlike the full-size Ronin, which is made of aluminum, the Ronin M is made of more lightweight magnesium. We're going to walk you through how to actually set up, balance, and use the Ronin M. The Ronin is really supposed to be reserved for a larger camera body, larger camera build, but for today we're just going to stay focused on the Ronin Mini and show you all of the new things that it has to offer. This thing boasts up to 6 hours of battery life. I can tell you from experience, yesterday I was actually out using this thing for probably 8 hours, and I didn't have to change the battery once. Just got back in the studio today, still actually have 2 cells left of this charge. So it says 6 hours. I'm guessing with a good balance and a light rig, you can actually probably get more out of this thing. So similar to the Ronin, it has a back battery chassis here. Going to go ahead and loosen the thumb screws up, insert it, plop it down, and tighten it. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. So today I'm going to show you how to balance the 5D on the Ronin M. Now from my experience, the Ronin M really isn't designed for larger camera bodies. It's a really DSLR beast. It's going to do really well with the Blackmagic Pocket, 5D, 7D, any other thing that has a body similar to the size of a DSLR. I need to get the camera on there first. That's going to be really simple and easily done here using Ronin's universal quick release base plate here. And different than the full-size Ronin, the Ronin M screws actually have a non-beveled screw designed to it, so you're no longer having to search through all of your quarter 20s to try to find something that'll actually fit in the base plate. Oh no, it actually gives you a whole different option now. The screws are going to fit in really nice and evenly. You actually only need the one size hex tool for the Ronin M. Everything else is designed to be toolless, which is great. And I find using wider lenses with any type of gimbal is going to give you a more dramatic feel. Seeing that depth kind of go by you in the shot really enhances the look. So my favorite go-to lens when I'm not able to switch lenses, because you really don't want to be switching lenses when you build a rig. We're gonna go with the 16-35 Canon L series lens. It's a beautiful lens, really nice and wide, 2.8, super fast, works great indoors and outdoors. Capability for screw-on ND filters, which is amazing when we're outdoors. So just a heads up right now, you're gonna wanna make sure your camera has a card and a battery in it before you go ahead and put it on. A lot of times these ports are going to be covered up by the actual camera stage, especially because it's so much smaller. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw my LPE6 into the 5D. It's a little bit heavier once I have all that stuff on it, which is fine. And for today's demonstrational purposes, we are not going to be using a follow focus or a wireless video transmission device. We are just going to be balancing the camera, simple HDMI output to a screen above. The Ronin M, from my experience, really is meant to be used as stripped down as possible. It actually doesn't come with any quick release mounting brackets for the top bar, which really indicates that this is supposed to be a light rig. When balancing a gimbal, you want to always start with your vertical axis. Make sure it's moved over as far as you need to go. So as you can see here, I'm just crudely balancing the roll and the tilt so the camera will sit center. So you want to adjust the vertical tilt first. You're going to use the 2 adjustment clamps on the side here and open them up a little bit. Rotate the camera on its back so the lens is facing upwards, and then push the camera slowly backwards. Push it down so the lens is trying to stay as upright as it can. I'm not going to make this thing any top heavy or bottom heavy. It needs to be perfectly balanced right in the middle. So it seems as though I've found it here. I'm going to go ahead and lock in my adjustment tabs. You want to make sure your adjustment tabs are tightened at the same indicator mark on both sides. If you don't do this, your motor could bind when you have it on. So second, we're going to balance the roll axis here. So first off, you're going to loosen the 2 lock knobs to allow the camera and the mounting plate to slide left and right. You're going to slide the camera left or right until the roll axis remains level. As you can see right now, I'm very heavy on my right side, so I'm going to push my camera over to the left as much as I can. allowing it to stay level. Another note here is not to loosen these two knobs excessively. All they need to be loosened is just a little bit to move the camera back and forth. If you loosen them too excessively, you're going to have a really hard time locking them back up when you find your balance. I'm going to line up my pan with my top bar. I'm going to just tilt it a little bit on one side, tilt it a little bit on the other side. So third, we're going to balance the tilt axis. When proper forward and tilt balance is achieved, the camera is going to stay level when you remove your hand. You have the camera's base side clamp. You're going to loosen it. This is going to allow your camera to slide back and forth along the camera stage. So you're going to slide the camera forward or backward until the tilt axis remains level. Only very small adjustments should be required to achieve the proper balance. Done. So the next thing you're going to do is balance the pan axis. The entire mass below the motor has to be centered. What I want to do is actually tilt one of the handlebars up, and I'm going to see which way the camera is going to fall. If it's going to fall forward or backwards. If it falls forward, it's front heavy. If it falls backwards, it's back heavy. I'm going to pick up one side of it. Oops, there it goes. It's falling forward. It tells me that the camera's forward heavy. So I'm going to use this amazing little knob that the Ronin M has that the Ronin does not have. That's going to allow me to move this pan axis back and forth. So I'm going to move it back now. Close. Just a little bit more. I can actually dial in my tiniest adjustments using this thing. I love it. Couldn't be better. Finally, there is an advanced roll adjustment. If your camera is heavy on one side or the other, there's a big screw actually in the back of it you can loosen with the tool that's provided. And you can actually move the entire cage here along one side or the other. As with any other gimbal, the top bar is going to be completely independent of balance. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my monitor on. So it's always good to use ultra-thin HDMI cables when dealing with any sort of gimbal stabilizer. A lot of heavy cordage between this will throw off your stabilization. So I've got my properly balanced camera. It's going to go ahead and stay in any position I'm going to leave it in. Hold my breath. Not really, because I know it's going to be perfect. And go ahead and power down. Voila. Ronin's technology is very robust. You can really kind of push around your Ronin and actually play with it a little bit before you get your motor kill, which I love. I'm going to pick this thing up, test it out for size. I'm getting a really, really, really nice stabilization here, I can tell. And look at how receptive everything is. I'd like to show you guys some of the different modes that this thing can do, but before we do that, Ronin now has some updated software on your phone. So you gotta make sure your Bluetooth is on. It's gonna go ahead and it's gonna scan for it. I found my Ronin camera ambassador. I'm gonna go ahead and log on to it. Now it has an updated calibration system. Issues with the big Ronin is because of its size, you couldn't get it into small spaces, and because of its noise, you couldn't shoot in small spaces or very quiet spaces. The actual motors inside of the gears here, they were just too loud. But I want you to listen to this. This is off. And then on. It's really incredible. And even further, using the app, I can change the pan, tilt, and roll speed, deadband, and acceleration. You can actually test your speed on here. You could turn the camera on and hit the test button, and you can see what it's going to do. It's going to actually show you the motion and how fast it's going to be. I have my deadband set anywhere between 1 and all the way up to 30. 1 is going to be really tight. The littlest motion you do, the camera's going to respond right to it. While 30 or something like that is going to be almost impossible to move the camera without actually moving your entire body away from the rig. 5 is nice and tight. It seems like that's kind of the way that everybody likes to use it. So as you can see with 5, I just kind of push it a little bit, it turns. Bam. So you can get very, very, very customizable on the type of motion you want to be responding to your smooth track operation. Now keep in mind this is a single user operation mode. The Ronin M also has a remote controller that comes with it. Go ahead and turn it on. It's an easy binding process. You just actually turn off your devices, hit the bind button, throw the Ronin in bind mode, and then turn on your remote controller. Bam, you're done. As you can see, you have a full range of motion utilizing your controller. So the Ronin M has 3 different types of operation modes. You have underslung mode, upright mode, and briefcase mode. The underslung mode is the mode that we're all used to working with. You're going to grab your Ronin as normally. You have full access of motion, holding it by its side handlebars and its top bar. So I want to hold it from the top handlebar like this, but every time I run, I'm afraid I'm going to hit it with my knee like that. Something really cool with the Ronin M now is that the handlebars actually come off really easily. And luckily for the shot I'm doing right now, I'm not gonna need my on-screen monitor because I'm not gonna be able to monitor anything that's happening in my shot anyway. So we're just gonna go ahead and take this out. And now we've got a whole new style of stabilizer, the Ronin M. Now, the second mode of operation, which is ideal for car mounts, ideal for anything where action is at eye level or even facing downward, is upright mode. And to transform your Ronin M into upright mode, you're simply going to rotate it forward 180 degrees. This is going to easily transform your camera into upright mode. You're going to be able to turn it around. Your camera now is at eye level, as you see. Tilting becomes much easier when you're looking downwards. And controlling from up here becomes a breeze. I set it back down, tilt it back around, bam, you are in undersling mode again. And then finally, briefcase mode is great for long tracking shots, shots that are lower to the ground. You're gonna easily just tilt your Ronin on its side. This mode cannot utilize the remote controller. So as you can see, briefcase mode is great for when you're closer down to the ground. It's going to work similarly to your underslung mode, but this way it's going to be actually able to get much closer down to where you're going. But be careful for that motor kill, because it will hit you on motor kill. That's all right, because it's the Ronin. So if you do experience motor kill, just put the camera back into its start position. You will actually regain your balance, regain your motor control. So there you have it, a good overview of the Ronin M. This is a great tool for your smaller camera builds. This is going to be amazing for DSLRs, and it's going to be so helpful when you're moving quickly on the field. You don't have time to rebalance, you don't have time for something that's going to be finicky. It's going to continue to die on you and give you a hard time. The Ronin M is a solid piece of technology through and through. I would definitely recommend using it on your next production if your camera body will allow it. And as of all of our gimbal rentals here at Camera Ambassador, please give us a call beforehand. Show up a bit early to your rental, and I'd love to sit down and teach you how to use one of these things one-on-one free of charge. So please visit cameraambassador.com or call us today at 773-791-6522. Thanks again for watching. This has been Dane from Camera Ambassador. I hope you guys have a great day.